Representative Barrett, you're recognized for 7 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Secretary, great to see you again. And I want to start by thanking you for coming to Michigan last month, spending time with veterans in my district. We deeply appreciated that and appreciate your commitment to fulfilling the mission we have to every single one of our veterans across the country, and the interest you took to come to Michigan, we really appreciate. And appreciate your willingness to step up and serve in this role. I know that it's not always easy to step into the management role of such a large organization with a lot of political pressure and a lot of spotlight on you, so thank you for being willing to do that. I wanted to ask you specifically about the electronic health record modernization and the increased funding in the budget proposal before us, and wanted to ask how this enhancement in funding is going to be used to ensure that we have a success in the electronic health record rollout, knowing that we've had challenges with the program in the past.
Thank you, Congressman. I do appreciate the commitment, especially in your area, because of, April next year, the 4 sites will be going live in Michigan. I think it's just a restart is what we have to sort of look at here. This was a system that had been broken in the sense that nobody was working with it. They were not, they just sort of went to their corner and just held the ball, and money was being wasted all the time. So what we did is restarted the system from minute one. One of the biggest issues that I'd heard that was a concern, not only from a perspective of patient safety, patient quality, dealing with these health records, it did put, my understanding, at least looking back on some of the stuff in Washington State and Oregon, is that it was not working properly and it was actually giving some bad results. That's just an issue there. Most of that came from the situation in which we didn't standardize what we were doing. They just sort of were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do. One of the ways going forward is we're holding accountable on a very short timeline on our end to make sure that all of our employees are trained, everybody's going to be up to speed, and we're speeding up that integration process. We're also holding Oracle accountable for realistic time limits, and also getting the equipment in, and also adding things such as AI and others on top of that to help our doctors in their treatments, and the nurses as well, practitioners going forward, which is something they see in the private sector right now if they just walked across the street and went into a private care facility. So we believe that we're putting in the safeguards to make sure that going forward this is going to be something that can actually work, but also giving it the tools to expand in a quicker fashion. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I chair the Technology Modernization Subcommittee here, and one of the issues we've taken up is the external provider scheduling program. One thing that was clear throughout that hearing we had recently is that provider participation is really critical in making sure that EPS works for veterans and reducing that community care appointment wait time and the seamless integration there. I personally had an experience with the community care scheduling that was fraught with challenges and problems. Can you tell us what steps the VA is taking to encourage community care providers to participate in EPS and educate them about the program and not delay the implementation or discourage its use?
Yeah, and this is something I think that anybody sitting in my position right now would have this problem, and I don't care which administration it could be going forward, because frankly, the third-party administrating of this has been a problem and struggle, and I'm not saying completely their fault. I think there's a VA component to this as well on things that we've done to exacerbate the problem going forward. One of the things, and I don't think I've mentioned it, this is my second hearing, but if I've not mentioned it already, I want to at least emphasize this again, is that when about the second week that I was on the job, it was brought to my attention that we could not put out the contract RFI for the third-party administrators this year as we were supposed to, because the work was supposed to have been, and please don't hear me as trying to say blame, but this is just an honest assessment. They didn't do it last year. It was supposed to have been done in the fall of last year in the previous administration. They just didn't do it. So the groundwork, legwork to work up to this was not done. So we had to put it off a year. But what it's given us the ability to do now is spend time looking at the qualifications for these contracts, looking at the things. I think one of the latest conversations I've had with some of our folks on looking at this system is there's going to be literally hundreds of changes to the RFI proposal so that we get better work with our community care doctors and with our VA. Just to let you know on this committee, if you've not understood this issue, one of the problems is, and some of the doctors have alluded to this, is that you have doctors who cannot communicate with our system, and our system doesn't communicate to them. So they're waiting weeks with, I kid you not, we're faxing information. We're putting it on compact disc and sending it up. This is something all of us could, hold hands and say, why are we doing this? But this is what's been going on, and that's what's delaying care for our veterans.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and it felt like there was a bit of a, dragging of feet to get this integrated and to expand it. One thing I raised in committee that I'm hopeful we can look at is if we're doing the change management around the electronic health record modernization and upgrade and roll out to these facilities, it might be the appropriate time to put them onto this scheduling program at the same time so that we're doing that kind of comprehensively or with some thought there. I'm not in your position to kind of discern that practicality or not, but I do think that we need to do a far better job of rolling this out in a much more aggressive fashion to kind of achieve the benefit of getting these things scheduled in a timely way for our veterans.
I agree, and it's not just the issue of inside of our own facilities, it's also the
Right.
veteran using it as well. And so it's a twofold purpose of how we're training and how we're also rolling this out. I feel good about where we are now, and anything that we can add on. I've already experienced to Oracle that, we expect compliance. We expect this to go forward. Fortunately, about 3 weeks ago, the Senate confirmed my deputy, Paul Lawrence, to be our deputy secretary. That is statutorily under his purview, and I've turned him loose to do that. He's getting involved now heavily on a weekly basis and even a daily basis on it. So anything we can add, we'll be definitely looking forward.
We look forward to working together through the subcommittee in that effort and appreciate you being here today. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back. Thank you.
Gentlemen.